Welcome to the AMA, Gaston. Delighted to have you here. And today you'd be showing us all about the vision of products, token, partnerships, team, IDO and Polkastarter, community, and more. So again, delighted to have you here. Let's start with your introduction and your role at Earnem.
Sure. So first of all, I'm very happy to be here, and we are extremely happy to be doing both DC AMA, but also launching our token through Polkastarter. It's a great opportunity for all of us, for our community, and for Polkastarter community to access new markets and new user bases. So we are beyond happy to take a part of this. My name is Gaston. I'm Earnem General Manager. I've been working on the project ever since we first created it. And it's been a long run. I'm very happy to be able to have the opportunity to unpack a lot of the details that you were mentioning, flying over the product, the opportunity, the market, the team, and essentially everything about us. So yeah, very happy to be here.
Lovely. So let's go with the first thing. Tell us about Earnem and the vision behind the project.
Sure. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, essentially, Earnem is on a very specific mission to try to revolutionize how people earn by performing their day-to-day activities. So we realized that people can harness the power of Web3 by essentially seamlessly being integrated into the platform without generating a lot of friction on the way they operate. So we developed a very specific system that allows these users to be rewarded, to get rewarded by performing their everyday activities. So it can be through gaming, watching YouTube videos, shopping, reading news, basically the activities that all of us do every single day on our devices. We cracked a way to reward users for doing that. And essentially by onboarding them into Web3 when they perform these activities, we generate a more rewarding experience that essentially allows these users to get even more rewards, especially for worldwide users. We have reached a very specific market so far, and we have a community of over 45 million users who have collectively they have collectively earned and saved over $350 million through the offerings that we are giving them through Web2 and Web3 rewards. And then our team, which is very experienced in this specific area, has been recognized by Deloitte as one of the fastest software companies one of the fastest growing software companies in the world, essentially.
So about the platform, you mentioned about the earnings and everything, but now we need to know like how it works. So could you tell us about how Earnem platform works and what makes it unique in decentralized earning space?
Sure. So, I mean, the system we designed, it's very unique for one specific reason, because it allows us to seamlessly convert Web2 users into Web3. So essentially, we figure out a way to subsidize the gas fees for users when they are interacting with these platforms. And the way we do it is through their day-to-day activities. So we converted the data and the attention into currency that they can spend on chain. And if you go a little bit in depth, essentially what this means is the fact that the user, again, is performing their day-to-day activities. So the user can be playing a game, watching a YouTube video. They can do all like 15, 16 different activities that we very specifically studied and understood from the users. They get rewarded on that, and then they get to use those points that they are earning. They work like social points on different on-chain activities. That's the key aspect of the technology. That's the high level. The way it works is through two main products that we created. One is called EarnOS, which essentially is a layer on top of Android that powers some of this ecosystem. And then the other is the Earnem Smart Wallet, which is essentially the channel, the way these users can become Web3 users from any web platform. So essentially, EarnOS is a very straightforward, simple technology for users to use that transforms their smartphones, so the day-to-day activities that they perform on any of their devices, into earnphones. So it allows them to essentially interact and get these rewards through them. And EarnOS can be integrated into the manufacturers of the phone. It can be integrated into the software of the phone, but it can also be used by large apps, by carriers, or by any OEM that essentially wants to introduce their user base into this ecosystem. Essentially, it allows any platform to reward their users to distribute a better experience by boosting the access that it gives to their community. EarnOS itself combines both Web2 and Web3 rewards. So people can earn rewards using, for example, PayPal, gift cards. They have a plethora of ways to interact with this. They can also earn like some physical devices. But the most interesting aspect and the one that's been the one that reached the higher scale are Web3 rewards. And these assets that users get, they are called fractal assets, which is our own suite of assets. They come in the shape of mystery boxes, which is our highest distributed asset with over 25 million units distributed so far. Drop boxes, which is a fairly new asset that is going to launch around the end of October, beginning of November. And then the OTC boxes, which is a new type of asset that we are about to launch in the next couple of weeks and months. So essentially, Earnum in combination with the Earnum Smart Wallet, they act as an oracle that allows Web2 users to become Web3 participants, so merging both worlds together. This basically creates the ability to turn everyday digital interactions into financial rewards, making Earnum so unique. So far, as mentioned before, we were able to introduce Web3 to over 45 million users, which is a stat that not many projects are able to achieve, especially in conditions like right now, where the market is extremely volatile in so many different areas.
Those are impressive numbers, by the way. 45 million is no joke. You've mentioned about EarnOS, you've mentioned about Earnum Smart Wallet. Could you tell us more about the other products that Earnum offers?
Sure. Yeah, essentially everything works kind of together. It's a way, we developed this way to make our products and technologies work together. So we offer different approaches to this. And as I mentioned before, both EarnOS and the Smart Wallet are key technologies. I would label them more as a technology than as a product, especially because of the ability to be integrated into our ecosystem, but also into any other partner ecosystem. So that's kind of the way everything works. The way we achieve these things and we achieve these results is through a couple of very specific products that we've been launching since for a couple of years already. So the first one and one that usually grabs a lot of attention is the Earn Phone. I have actually a version here. So this is the first ever Earn Phone created. This is a device that we created and essentially allows us to perform higher earning rate for users. It's no different than the experience that they get through the app or the DApp on their ecosystem, but essentially it allows a more concentrated space where it gives us more chance to reward these users. So it's a big product and we have a lot of people excited about this. We recently launched the Smart Notes, which is another product. The Smart Notes essentially play a critical role in validating the user transactions on the Earnum platform. So they are a key aspect of the Smart Wallet to be able to allow ourselves to introduce new users and ensure that these users are actually performing the activities that they claim they are performing. They work like nodes, so essentially they power and they support the deep-in component of the Earnum network. The holders of these smart nodes essentially receive certain rewards and certain benefits by being at the forefront of the validation of the network. So they are a key member, a value member in the whole ecosystem. And then last but not least, we have all of our suite of fractal assets. And essentially, as I mentioned before, the key aspect of the fractal assets is the fact that they contain Web3 rewards inside them. The technology allows us to essentially distribute in a very specific and reward and revenue generating, way our own assets, but also any other token or any other NFT on the ecosystem. So essentially, the mystery box, for example, with over 25 million units being distributed so far across millions of users, allows us to enhance the broader distribution of the ecosystem, giving the users the chance to perform more activities for better rewards in a very gamified way that ensures revenue generation for the projects implementing these assets. So it's a breakthrough technology, and we've been expanding the reach of this technology to the mystery boxes, but also through other fractal assets as the Dropbox and the OTC boxes.
Impressive. I love how you've made it easier for Web2 users to jump into Web3 space and to get rewarded right away, just by doing simple tasks. Which
that's a key aspect of what we've seen in crypto, to be honest. Everybody talks about onboarding the next billion users, but everybody expects the users to actually go through the hassle of implementing these different technologies. We realize that the users want simple, straightforward tasks that they can complete in order to receive something. And in Web3, the concept of the user being incentivized to perform certain activities or receiving a value for doing something, it's highly appreciated. It's actually a good way to acquire users in the ecosystem. So we applied some of the knowledge that we've been gathering from our Web 2 experiences and our Web 3 experiences, and we crafted a unique solution that allows us to onboard a whole lot of users, essentially. Yeah.
Lovely. Thanks for explaining in detail. Now let's talk about the team. Now, we all know that a strong team is needed for bigger success. So could you tell me more about the team behind Ernim and their experience?
Sure. I mean, we currently employ about 60 professionals in the space. The team is divided across different areas. Of course, our largest area is the development side. We have about 30 engineers that spread through blockchain development, Android development, web development, and a couple of other areas as well. And then we also have team members that are specialized in marketing, operations, finance, and legal, of course. I'd say we have a pretty unique team in the way we crafted it, mixing both Web 2 and Web 3 concepts to be able to create a better product, as I was saying before, to onboard millions of users into Web 3. All of these team members, they have their own specific experience that come either from, again, Web 3, but on the Web 2 side, they also come from very advertising focus or marketing focus areas, which allows us to truly understand what the user expects on our experience and be able to offer them a complete experience for them to be on board. And as mentioned before, our team earned the title of being the creators of the one of the fastest growing companies in the US in the last year. So we are very proud of that stat as well. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't be happier with the structure we gathered so far.
Congratulations on that, first of all.
Thank you.
So we've talked about team, product, and now let's jump to the token, which fuels your ecosystem. Yeah. How does it benefit users? What's a token utility?
Great. That's a great question. And it's probably the most important question for everybody
Absolutely.
watching this AMA. So we've been designing the model with the token for a while, like many years. It's been since we started to dab a little bit with the idea of how the token should work and what should be the best way to create an ecosystem around it. And we had the example of several other projects that try to do something similar to what we are achieving right now. And essentially, from different reasons, they couldn't achieve their goal, either because of having too little users or too much exposure to the volatility of their token. There were a couple of factors that we took into consideration to essentially be able to create a better product with a more robust token model. To be honest, we are very proud with what we built with this, and it consists of many different aspects that add between each other to create a more robust offering. The concept of the token is very simple. It's an asset that essentially powers all of our other assets. So we create the fractal box technology, which essentially creates these specific assets that I mentioned before, such as the mystery box, the drop boxes, the OTC boxes. And then all of these assets contain the Ernim token for a broader distribution and a sustainable airdrop solution in many cases, and can also contain other assets in there. So we have partners that are proposing us to implement their own tokens, their own NFTs, or also like ETH or BTC tokens within these assets. So that's one key aspect. Essentially, to make it short, the Ernim token, it's backbone of the whole ecosystem. Of course, it doesn't end with that, because the one of the key aspects of the Ernim protocol, the technology that we built, allows it's to be able to implement our technology into other platforms and to work with other partners very closely. So the token has a B2C, as I mentioned before, but it also has this B2B and this B2B2C component, where these other projects, they need to use these tokens in order to be able to create their own assets and fund their own mystery boxes to be able to distribute these reward assets to their users. The most interesting component of all of this is the fact that for every transaction that happens on our ecosystem, we are able to generate on-chain revenue. So every time a user is revealing one of these assets, can be a mystery box, a Dropbox, or any of the assets that we created, we are actually making profits on chain, which is something that very little projects can, a handful of projects can say they do. We've proven that this model works because of our large user base, is the Kickstarter of the technology. And to be very specific and frank about this, we were able to make about $4 million in revenue just by these transactions being performed through our ecosystem. And it's TLDR it's a token focused model that generates revenue, that it's backed by real users performing real on-chain transactions that are being rewarded by the experience. So it creates like a flywheel effect that also allows us to reward the projects bringing these users into the ecosystem. Because since we have our revenue generating model, we are able to share back some of this revenue with these projects, allowing a flywheel effect that benefits us, the users, and the project that owns those users.
Wow. So in the end, everybody's happy.
Exactly. Everybody's super happy.
Lovely. So now let's talk about the numbers and stats. Now, these stats were alarming. These were some really impressive stats in terms of the active users that you have. Could you share some recent achievements that highlights this?
Sure. Yeah, we have a couple of very interesting stats to share with the community
Absolutely.
here. Yeah, it's some staggering numbers. So adoption and engagement are pretty much our main goals. That's what I've been saying for the whole AMA here. So so far we gather about 45 million users, and this user base comes from the modern app main. So these are our users that interact with our products on a daily basis. Over 12 million of those users have been onboarded into Web3 as a more mature, more in-depth experience. So they are able to perform more than a single transaction through our app. So they are actually taking a part into the crypto space in a more deeper way. And out of those 12 million, 4 million of them are in-depth crypto users. So the same users that you see flying on Twitter and social media on different exchanges, these are users that also perform activities on our platform. So we have a kind of a unique situation where we were able to access a community that is very large for a lot of people that just want to dab into crypto, a considerably large of 12 million people that interact on a daily basis in crypto, and a 4 million user base of hardcore crypto users. So it's very interesting to see how these different users play their role in the ecosystem and how our different offerings and products, as I was mentioning before, work for what they need to achieve and what they are planning, what are the goals on the network essentially. So through all of these interactions, through all of these users, as I mentioned before, we generated over $4 million in network fees since December 2023. So it's it's an outstanding number, all verifiable on chain that happened through our smart contract. We are beyond excited to see how these can shape once our token launches, which is going to drive a lot of new engagement, a lot of new users, a lot of new attention, and especially will help us grow all of the numbers that I'm mentioning here. So far, to understand the volume that we are driving, this activity represents 5% of the total volume on the Polygon network. So we want to see, and we are expectant to see how these numbers are going to grow in the next couple of weeks and months. From a user perspective, from an engagement point of view, collectively, our users have spent about 18.6 billion minutes across all of their devices, which accounts for more than 10,000 different smartphone SKUs. So essentially, we have a network, a deepening network that flies across every single device that was ever created that can run any sort of software, any sort of technology. So essentially, this shows the scalability that the platform has. To say the least, all of these users and the activity generated on these platforms have allowed us to mint about 25 million of the fractal assets that I mentioned before, and this number is only growing. So every day, more users reveal more assets, get more rewards, and essentially participate from a larger ecosystem.
Lovely. I think simplifying it is the key, and I think that is something that was missing for Web2 users, like how to jump into Web3. Because of the complexities of the current system. And if that's made easier, voila, the numbers are speaking for itself.
Exactly.
So
yeah, we want to bring Web3 to most of users because there is real value to be harnessed across the space for everyday users. And there is a very specific market opportunity that we are profiting from, which is the fact that most of the ways companies make money in Web2 right now through digital activities like the ones we are doing are mainly based on advertising. But advertising has many flaws, and we all come in Earnem, many of us come from this background, and we really understand how the advertising space works. And we understand the flaws that this ecosystem presents, especially for international users, which are the most amount of users spread through the world. So at the end of the day, when you have users from, let's say, Europe, India, South America, the rest of Asia, Africa countries, it's very difficult for them to represent a big opportunity or to represent some revenue generation opportunity for projects. So essentially, they are not really valued that much in the space. So the main issue with this doesn't come from the user. It comes from the way these users are being valued. So we cracked a way to value these users in a higher way that is both rewarding, as I was mentioning before, for them as a user, performing these activities on a daily basis, for the platforms that own these users, but also for us as a project and ultimately for our holders, essentially the people that will back the success of the project.
Lovely. Wish you all the best with
Thank
how it shapes up. Now the big thing that everybody's talking about, the merger with StormX. I've heard that it's under voting. So what's the current status? Could you tell us how this will benefit, if, for example, this merger is approved, like how will it benefit Earnum?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this has been a topic that we've spoken a lot in the past with our partners, investors, community, and team members. It's a huge opportunity for us and for the StormX team, and we are both very happy to be able to figure this out in the best possible way. Our goal with this situation is to be able to create the world's largest Web3 rewards ecosystem, and StormX is very experienced in the cashback space, which complements perfectly with the way we operate right now. Right now, there is a community vote that it's outside for the StormX community, which is at a 99.97% yes. So we have almost 100% of the community approving this vote, which gives us a very good feeling, both for us at Earnum and also StormX on their side, because it will allow us to combine their established cashback business with our rewards model and all of the decentralized technology that we created for this. The main benefits for projects and for the users are quite simple to understand on a high level. So essentially, we will be able to expand both of the user base by combining each other. We will become a 50 million plus network, which is unheard of in the crypto space. There are going to be more offerings for all of these users, so they will be able to generate rewards and make profits in more than 16 to 20 different ways by performing all of their same day-to-day activities. And the most interesting aspect of this is that there will be like a more robust token economic model for for all of the participants, but enhancing the product offering that we have. So essentially, it will drive a deeper degree of growth to the ecosystem. It will allow us to reach a more mature audience as well. That is very interesting for us. StormX, it's been around for the last 6-7 years in the space. They are an OG project, and their community is a very strong community in certain regions, particularly in Asia, which is a very interesting market for us to be able to tap into. So it's probably one of the biggest growth opportunities that it's been presented to us, and we've been working very closely with the StormX team for the last 8 to 12 months around exploring this idea, but also on initial partnerships that we start to develop together. So essentially, it allowed us to truly understand the different synergies between both teams and crack it down in a way that will truly benefit everybody on the space.
Lovely. So since it's 99% approval already, I could already congratulate you on the merger in a way.
Thank you. Yeah, we need yet to see. The voting is going to close in the next few days. So we are very excited, to be honest. We are very excited.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
So, yeah, talking about partnerships, you have some really well-known names on board, such as Walmart, Amazon, and so on. So could you tell me how these partnerships work? How do you involve Web2 retailers to Web3?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so first of all, we are a very partnership-focused company and a very partnership-focused team. We were able to understand what benefits both of the companies that are working on different partnerships, so us and any other partner, to truly align incentives between them, us, and their user base, in the case we want to attain that specific niche. And essentially, it allowed us to create a collaboration environment between them and us, particularly with Walmart, Amazon, and also Best Buy. They are our partners selling the phone. So these devices that I showed you earlier, that are available through these platforms, and people can just buy within their sites these assets and these devices. We have a lot of different partnerships in the play, and we work with, again, every single type of project in the space. We have partnerships with wallet teams. We have partnerships with more consumer apps. We have partnerships with very specific and crypto native products, whether they focus on news, on gaming, on staking, on like across the board. We essentially are able to partner with over 25, 30 different partners, which is very it's exciting for us to allow us to tap into those communities, but also creates a broader distribution for our product, which is essentially the way we created this. So all of these partners, they access a deeper network of users, mainly created by us and sustained by us. But essentially, it entails a whole ecosystem of very specific crypto users, from more web type of new users recently onboarded, more experienced users, to hardcore users that are able to perform transactions on their networks, enhancing their stats, their nums, their activity, and making therefore a deeper integration into the ecosystem.
Lovely. Thanks for explaining everything. Now it's much simpler to kind of understand how it works and what comes out of these partnerships and how you could kind of expand the user base through these partnerships, which is really crucial. So now let's jump into the most important thing, the community. How important is the community engagement? Are there any active campaigns or initiatives you have to keep the community involved?
Sure. I mean, the community is the most important aspect of the whole project for us. And I think it's the most important aspect and stakeholder on any project in both crypto, Web3 and Web2. It's not new what I'm saying. So we are very happy to have the community we have and have all of these like millions of users that trust our decisions and essentially back us on a daily basis. So it's our duty to be able to offer them opportunities to both engage, but also because of the ecosystem that we built, give them opportunities to make more revenue and generate more rewards. So we are very focused on that. That's the main way on how we interact with our community. Therefore, we created different offerings for them. As I mentioned before, the Smart Notes is probably the biggest opportunity that we launch for our community. It's a pretty big sort of event opportunity for them to take a share on the future of the network alongside the tokens that we are offering. It's like the two main aspects of the whole ecosystem. They fly through those two assets. So again, community members can purchase these assets through various offerings that we are working on and essentially allow them to be part of the deeper ecosystem. So that's one of the main focuses for us, and it's been like that for the last couple of weeks. We also have our Fractal Box rewards. So all of these assets that we created are being offered to these users through different ways. As I mentioned before, they are one of the key rewards within the Modern app, but they are also one of the key rewards across many other partner integrations that we've been doing in the past, and the community is well aware of this, and they can just fly through our social media to learn about these opportunities. We can essentially be a very big rewarding opportunity for them. Some of our mystery boxes, based on the way they work, they can grant up to 500,000 earn tokens to very lucky users. So it's a very interesting, rewarding experience for them, and I really like to see the reaction of users that have reached one of these biggest assets in sessions. And then lastly, since we all come from a very specific marketing background and we really like to engage with users, we usually create certain marketing opportunities. We launched our Monopoly about a year ago, and essentially it's like a very specific, very gamified campaign. It works like a quest type of page that rewards users by performing activities within the ecosystem. So I incite everybody to go check the site. There are a lot of rewarding opportunities for them to participate in the Monopoly campaign.
Lovely. Wish you all again all the best for the growth of the community. Now let's move on to the big day, the launch deal.
Yeah.
So as we are having IDO on Polkastarter, which is coming really soon, what should our participants know about? And, can you hint us anything about the TGE?
Okay. So I'd say the most important aspect leading up to the sale are mainly the user base that we've been gathering so far. So the 45 million users, the 12 million more active Web3 users, and the 4 million hardcore users that we got in crypto. That's been able to generate us over $4 million in on-chain revenue. which is a pretty crazy stat in terms of achievements in the space and the way the flywheel effect works with these users, the partners that we have, and ourselves as a large community of the project and the token holders. I'd say that's the first aspect of it. We are constantly creating breakthrough technology in the space that allows other partners and other platforms to enhance their operations. So we are able to create new revenue streams for all of our partners, which is pretty interesting to most of them. Everybody wants to be able to generate more revenue, make more money, and essentially have their users more happy with a higher engagement rate. So I'd say those are the main areas of what we are doing. We are also a very strong team that is very focused on launching different assets and different reward mechanisms for all of these users. So as I was mentioning previously, having the ability to spin up very specific marketing campaigns and enhancing the experience for all of these users, both through the modern app, through Monopoly, the smart notes offering, the IDO, particularly Polkastarter, it creates a more mature and more rewarding experience for all of the users. So it's a great opportunity for them to take a share on the network, to truly understand what we are offering them. So I think it's essentially a great place to start if you're first learning about Earn. Regarding TGE, I'm very constrained on what I can say and what I need to say and how I need to say it. So we are around the corner. That's the main aspect of it. That's what I want to mention. That's most of what I can say.
Could you repeat it, please? Because there was some...
Oh, yeah, of course. Sure, no worries. So essentially what I was saying is that regarding TGE, I'm very limited and very constrained on what I can say and cannot say. Of course, due to the structure that we've been discussing in the past with relevant partners, it's very limited in the amount of I can share. It's around the corner. That's most of the details that I can give the community at this moment. But yeah, it's an aspect that has all of the Earn team very excited, to be honest.
Coming soon.
Exactly, yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much. And now finally, what are the future plans? How do you see Earn growing in coming years, and how will it evolve?
That's a great question. And it's probably, out of all of the questions that we've been discussing here, one of the most exciting for me, because I'm able to sit behind the scenes and see how everything is unfolding and how everything has been unfolding since the previous years that we've been in a similar situation, trying to grow the ecosystem and launch things for our user base and our holders. So there are a couple of aspects that I want to tap into, which is particularly the way on how we capitalize on all of the growth that we've been seeing with our user base and the revenue that we've been generating from them. So the key aspect of our growth comes from the scaling possibility in terms of the network. We are planning on launching our own scaling solution, so having a layer 2 that essentially fits the needs of our project to be able to connect into our ecosystem, but gives us a chance to connect to all of the other ecosystems. So we've been working very closely with partners that work on cross-chain interoperability, and essentially it allows us to create a new technology that benefits from all of the knowledge and experience that we have with our users and the rewards that we've been able to facilitate for them, but essentially connect this technology through any EVM, and especially any EVM compatible blockchain. So we are working on this technology that allows us to tap into Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Arbitrum, Base by performing transactions for users through our own chain. So essentially it makes the Earn token the native token of a pretty big and pretty large ecosystem that powers itself from the user base and the user base of all of our partners. So that's probably the thing that we are focusing the most on. We'll be focusing on the most on the next couple of years, and it's definitely going to shape the growth of the project, and it makes it very relevant for our new token holders and our new smart node holders as well.
Lovely. So thank you very much for this amazing AMA and shedding light on all the important subjects. And I wish you all the best with the launch, the merger, the user base, numbers, and partnerships. So again, thank you very much. Delighted to have you here. Have a good one.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Sagar. I'll hope this is very informative for the community, and we end up making a lot of new users excited about Earn and about Polkastarter.
Lovely.
Fantastic.